Good evening. It is 7 p.m. I will call the Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. All three selectmen are present, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from November 19th, 2024.
Second,
Okay, any discussion on these minutes?
Nope, I read them over. I didn't see anything.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good as well. All in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and correspondence, two pieces of correspondence. Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Troop D and Danielson reports that there were, in the month of October, 165 calls for service in the town of Thompson. Of these calls, most notable were 14 accidents, 25 investigations, 1 burglary, 1 larceny, and 124 non-reportable matters. In addition, there was the following motor vehicle enforcements: 2 DUIs, 10 traffic citations, and 16 written warnings. And the other piece of correspondence came from Bill Steglitz, our finance director, and the Board of Finance, listing out the budget workshops for this year. Bill constructed the schedule, working closely with the Board of Education schedule so that he'd be able to work everything into his schedule. If there's a date that doesn't work for either of you, as you look through it, just let us know, let Marie know. And we can reschedule with Bill or schedule around that.
So we're looking to begin on February 5th.
Yes. Yep. Any other correspondence to bring before the Board of Selectmen tonight?
I did not have anything.
All right. So we will move on to Selectmen comments.
Other than that funny white stuff coming down.
Is it coming down more? I only saw.
It's covering the road just enough. Yeah,
Is it really?
yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't when I
I mean,
first
it's
got
coming
here.
down in big flakes. The
it's,
showers are supposed to blow through, but they say tomorrow night it should end up 1 to 3 inches, so. Our highway department will be,
You ready, Joe? I'm just kidding. I know we've been getting ready.
Sleeping,
which means, people are gonna forget how to drive in the snow, so
hopefully not.
obviously, please take caution,
Yep. For sure.
without a doubt. Something new, even though we all know how to drive in the snow, they soon forget.
question on the budget workshops. There's no times on it. Are we still doing evening, afternoon,
Evenings.
evenings, right?
Yes, but I believe we start at 6. I
6,
will
okay.
confirm that.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, we started earlier than the 7 o'clock time because that was typically a little too late. I will confirm with Bill tomorrow.
That would be great, so we can get it on our
I'll send you
calendar.
guys a message to confirm. All right, my comments. This Saturday is the bonfire and winter market. Unfortunately, it's gonna be really, really cold. But we're gonna get through it. We'll have Santa. Some of the vendors, hopefully they don't bow out because it's so cold. And of course, the bonfire and food trucks. So that'll be a fun time. So that's at the Library Community Center and Duhamel Park. Additionally, the Thompson's annual holiday light contest is fully underway. Register your home or business by December 13th. And then members of the community can pick up a map at the town hall in the Thompson Library beginning on December 16th. And that map will show you where the contestants are located throughout the town. So you just have to submit a photograph to recreation@thompsonct.org by December 13th to be entered. And then we are also doing letters to Santa at the North Pole. There is a special mailbox at the town at the town hall here, in the main entrance, the first floor entrance, and you'll be able to drop your letters to Santa between now and December 18th, and we will get those letters to Santa Claus.
Oh. Very
And
cool.
then the last thing I wanted to share is at our last Board of Selectmen meeting, we had members of the public from Pompeo Road, and we had discussed potentially writing some type of a letter to state our position to the siting council. This is what I created, and I'll give you both. I want to read it so the public knows what we may or may not want to send. I don't know if we need to vote on me sending it, but I think it's important for the public to know potentially what I wrote, and you can both let me know.
We
if
can
you
do a
think-
consensus. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what we talked about at the last meeting.
And I'll get you copies of it, but I am writing on behalf of the town of Thompson Board of Selectmen in regard to petition number 1643 CTEC Solar LLC. The Board of Selectmen believes strongly in the rights of all citizens to develop their properties within the constraints of state and local regulations. We would never seek to deny such rights. We do, however, respectfully ask that the Siting Council show thoughtful consideration of the impact this proposed solar development will have on direct abutters to the project. In particular, Ms. Stasia Menard of 35 Pompeo Road and Paul and Kathy Gilbert of 78 Pompeo Road are direct abutters who have expressed specific concerns about unintended negative impacts to their properties. Specifically, we request that the council consider increasing the setback from the road of the solar farm as far as possible. Additionally, we request the council require the applicant to apply an expanded buffer zone between the proposed solar farm, the road frontage, and the direct abutters. This request mirrors comments submitted by Jordan D. Domenico, Environmental Analyst 1 for Connecticut DEEP, in correspondence dated 30 October 2024. As have been noted in correspondence submitted on behalf of the neighborhood residents, Pompeo Road recently received a scenic designation. It would be unfortunate if this otherwise worthy project disrupted the scenic nature of the road, engendered ill will from the neighbors. And then that would be signed by me. But I'll give you guys a copy. We have until January 16th. So I'll give you a copy and then we can weigh in at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. And that was all I had for correspondence. Any thoughts or anything else?
The abutters that you mentioned by name, are they approving of that?
Well, they
having their
both
names
come,
in
they
the
have both
letter?
come to see me,
Okay,
and they have both, and I'll double check with them.
yeah,
But I don't think that they both all have sent letters, the three of them. So Paul and Kathy sent letters themselves, and Stasia sent a letter as well. Mrs. Menard
okay,
sent a letter as well, and she actually came to see me
okay.
about a week ago, so shortly after our last meeting. So,
I think it would just be good if they knew that they were mentioned in the letter,
absolutely,
would be my only.
Well, once it's formalized.
yeah, for sure. All right. So I'll send you guys copies. You can make notes and we'll talk about it at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Any other selectmen comments?
Mm-mm.
All right, we will open the floor to citizen comments and we will begin in the room. Any citizen comments? Yeah, in this room, sorry, not the Zoom room. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sean Brissett, Old Davis Road. You're gonna be speaking about town administrator. I don't know if it's something that you plan on voting to move to a town meeting tonight. I would strongly urge you to send it to a town meeting. I think it is long overdue. I think we're a $30 million a year business and we need continuity. We need somebody that's dedicated to bringing in a commercial tax base so that all the people screaming about taxes and the residents' backs can finally have a commercial tax base break. So I think that it's something you should move forward because the whole reason why the Board of Finance didn't just leave it in the budget a couple years ago was 6 people making a decision. So 3 people make a decision, send it to the town and let the town make the decision. And we can make our argument there. So that's it.
That's good. All right, any other citizen comments from the room? Citizen comments, floor is open. from the Zoom audience? Any citizen comments? Ms. Valerie Clark?
Valerie Clark, Alm Road. I was going to comment that I saw on the agenda that a letter had already been written to Santa. I am absolutely opposed to adding a town administrator. This is a town that should be run the way it has been run and not add more employees and less control by the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments from the Zoom audience? Last call from either room. Zoom or otherwise. All right, we will move on. All right, agenda item 7, private roads maintenance. So I presented this draft of a potential policy for private road maintenance. It works in conjunction with the 2012 winter maintenance policy. And I feel very strongly that there just needs to be a policy in place that defines what a private road is and follows the statute, which does state that these rights of way and private roads, that the people who own the properties on these rights of way shall be responsible for maintaining. And yeah, but that's my belief, knowing how hard the Department of Public Works struggles to keep everything in check year after year. And I know that it's a tough decision politically to make. But if it's not an accepted road, if it's not a road that's in acceptable repair, there needs to be some responsibility put on somebody.
Well, that's one of the things that we did try and do back in 2012, and
But what's lacking is even though things are identified on these roads, when the roads do become degraded, they just get ignored. And there's no responsibility for maintaining so that we can actually plow. So,
well, I looked at both of it. I do like the definitions, etc., because it spells out the individual things that we're trying to deal with. So it's very cut and dried. You know, it took a lot from here, but put it in the statute. So it kind of mirrors a lot of what we had in place
right,
from back in 2012.
but that only addressed the winter maintenance to a certain degree.
That was usually the biggest thing, was the limited winter maintenance.
But what we're facing now is roads that are coming apart to the point where we can't perform the winter maintenance.
Right.
And nobody thinks it's their responsibility
Well,
to fix the roads.
we did have something in the other policy. You know, our highway department is stretched thin, and, you know, back then you had to check it by July and make recommendations
And which Joe has.
but I'm saying it's
But
been,
who do you bring those recommendations to if
and
there's
this
not
is
a
what,
policy?
this will be spelt out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Mhm.
So, I mean, sometimes we're our own worst enemy because we're out so stretched thin that, you know, instead of doing it in July, we're looking at it at the end of September, and it's only, you know, a month or so away from snowplow. So it does spell it out a little bit better.
Right.
Okay. I just found I had a couple of questions.
Okay.
One was on the first page of your budding parcel. You know, as
For the
regulated,
definition?
yeah, as regulated by this ordinance policy. Not an ordinance.
Just a policy, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything else in there on that. And it goes through and how they can do homeowners associations, how they can, you know, get a grasp on it. And I did look at some of the streets from way back when. because I was on the board at that time when we did draft this.
Mhm.
Uh. The only thing that I did see on here that we were doing, because we do grade our own town roads, Randall, Taylor,
Right,
yeah, Old Davis, oh, what's the one next to John Rice? Elm
I
Road.
mean, Dutton Road.
Dutton Road that we grade. But we were doing in the past, and it had been for a long period of time. We did grade Wrightson Drive,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and we used to grade Bros, but based on what's been going on up there, there's no way of getting in and out of there, and even running a 1-ton dump truck through there has been a nightmare over the last few
But
years.
just, but my thing is,
But that wasn't being graded, that,
Right.
even though we did grade, I think, a little bit of it, then we could only get in
We
so
have
far.
graded that in the past.
Yeah.
Because when you go down Rose Landing and then the road goes to the right, it comes down to the bottom. There's like a waterway that comes
Yeah.
all the way from Porter Road, Porter Town Farm Road that would.
That washes out.
And then it washes down to the
Yeah.
lake.
And
And
it-
we have fixed that for them in the past.
Yeah, the other one that we did also grade was Border Trail.
Yeah, Porter Trail.
Yeah. I mean, past practices, rights in Border Trail. We should continue that.
but why? How is that fair? Just because you did something in the past
It's
doesn't mean that it's right.
just my
If
feeling
somebody
that
did something
we should
that,
continue.
I don't agree.
You can disagree, that's fine.
Right.
I,
I'm glad you're sharing your opinion, but I don't,
Yeah.
I think if it's one way, it's one way for all of the private roads. You don't make exceptions, but I feel really strongly about that because it's just,
We
it's not
cannot
right.
give the rights in.
And not,
We can't give to everybody else.
I'm just,
if you're asking a lake district to take care of their private roads, then everybody falls under that category.
and if the other alternative would be that we work it out with them, because we have the grader and it's reasonable that we do it.
Mm.
There's always a possibility of that, so. Those, because it's been going on for decades that we've
Right.
been grading these roads.
Because nobody wants to say no, because it becomes a political,
I'm not looking at it as a
but it is
political,
political. It is.
no matter what it
Nobody
is.
wants to say no. Nobody wants to say
But-
no to the taxpayers.
No, and the taxpayers on the lake pay a higher tax rate and.
Well, they
and some of
pay
the
a higher portion. They don't pay a big
Portion,
tax rate. it's
Portion,
just that they
portion,
hire-
that is, you're right.
But
I said
only
it wrong.
because of what they get. They don't have a view like I have in Mechanicsville. So. What are your thoughts, Suzanne? You're being quiet. Stan and Ken and I are being vocal. You live on a private road,
That's not maintained.
right?
And it's not plowed, even when it's been a safety issue, it's not plowed.
Mhm.
But there's something to be said for past practice. I don't disagree with you and people get accustomed to that. And but I agree that the town cannot continue to take on that financial responsibility. It's not fair to everyone else in town.
But I think when we talked in 2022, it was, well, there just needs to be enough notification. So it's not just oh, we're not doing it anymore. Maybe it's just a matter of, as of X date, this policy will be in place and it's just time.
Well, we can make exceptions by past practices on certain roads. I mean, we have that leverage to do that. The only other thing that I saw in this, that if we are gonna go in and do a private road and it meets the expectations that it's safe to do so. That there is a liability waiver through whatever the association, et cetera, may be. Because
So let me just ask, what is it that we are not going to do anymore? We're not going to just grade the roads and maintain them?
Grade and maintain.
But are we gonna continue to plow?
Yeah.
It's just sets.
In that policy, it gives a certain amount of snow
For
and
it.
timeline. Like, we're not gonna run down Wrightson Road when we're plowing all the main roads. it would be at the end of the storm, which I think that's from the 2012
Well,
policy.
Policy.
going back then, it was up to the highway foreman, depending on what the storm was doing.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, if you're getting an inch an hour,
We gotta try to get in there.
you gotta try and get in there because you don't wanna move a foot of snow at the end of a storm.
Right.
So you'd be making a pass through in order to keep that opened up.
And I don't think the town should go in there and clean the road. We should open the road. And it'd be up to the residents and the owners of the right of way or whatever to clean up themselves. You know, we open it up and like I've said plenty of times in the past, the ambulance has gotta get in there, the fire truck's gotta get in there. They're gonna get in there. I'm gonna open it up for them and they are gonna get in there and people are gonna be safe.
Right.
In a perfect world, it all lines up.
Hmm.
In a perfect world.
That's why I went, perfect word. It's a tough one.
I think what I'm trying to achieve by this policy is just, hey, there's a mechanism in the Connecticut statutes that allows for whether it's an owners association, and these items are in our subdivision regulations now. So an owners association could be formed within the Lake Districts or within these private roads. What was the name of the little I can't remember the name. Is it Sunshine Terrace? The little mobile, I know they only have
That's the
one
one in
street.
Fabian.
Yeah,
Yeah, they only
That's-
have one street, but
they have one street, but not
You one way in, one way, one off of Blash going in and one off of
Fabian
Fabian.
Woods.
Yeah.
Right.
they
We've never
maintain
touched that,
everything,
though.
right?
No, we've never touched that one.
Never been in there.
The only park that we've plowed is the one down at Quinnipiac.
It just defines what's expected. So that there's no question. Yes, we follow this snowplow maintenance, this limited winter maintenance. However, we do expect that those that reside on these streets come together and figure out a way to maintain the private roads that they have. So, which hasn't been defined and wasn't defined with limited winter maintenance. It was, yes, you have to keep the roads up to par so that we can plow, but there was no definition of who was supposed to do that. And I just believe strongly that this policy defines that. And says it once and for all.
Oh, like I said, those definitions and stuff, I'm great with.
Mhm.
That spells it out. Organize, get together and, you know, get it done. So that's fine.
Easier said than done, but.
Yeah. Well, no, it's left up to them.
Right,
I mean, under the old one, the highway foreman had to go in and inspect to see if there was a rock or, you know, big pothole or somebody did something that we'd catch a plow on and do damage.
which Joe has done the last
Yeah.
2 years, but then we don't have anybody to send the information to. Except for if we send it to every single resident and
'Cause
say,
they-
hey, fix your road.
They don't have organizations,
Correct.
and some of the roads, they don't even know if there's ownership or how the ownership
Well,
works.
that's like Bros Landing.
Rose Landing,
You know,
yeah.
Bros up there,
Mhm.
they have no idea.
They have no
even
idea.
When you're up in, Schoolhouse Pond up there.
Like Bros Landing, the first, I think 50 feet of Bros Landing, if you're coming from the park, the house just after Bros Landing, he owns Rose Landing, the beginning of Rose Landing.
Mhm.
That's his property and there's the road.
There's a right of way through it.
There's a right of way for the people that live down there, but that is his property.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that, but I think he's claimed it as his.
Well, that's what he owns on, I dealt with him
Are you talking
because
about
there was some
Yeah.
trees or
Okay.
something. Or somebody was cutting the corner to get into there when they were doing construction. And I looked it up. You look it up on GeoMap, he owns straight across.
Oh, he does. It
Yes,
actually
he
shows
does,
it, cause
yeah.
it was such a
But you-
question about who actually owns that road. And they went and there was some residents that searched, you know, the archives, and they still couldn't figure out who
Right,
actually
yeah.
owned it,
Right
but
on,
they have right of ways.
right on Portic Town Farm Road, his property goes from his house, right past the road to the, a small parcel on the opposite side.
But don't put a lot of credence into GeoMap. It's a guide. It's
It's not accurate.
It's not accurate by any means. It just gives you an idea where the property lines are.
So anyway, what do we want to do with this? Are you looking for a motion and a vote tonight?
Well, I think it would be nice to finally get it done. We've
It's a
battled
policy?
around since I think since I came onto the board. Well, at least since I became first selectman. It was a concern of the former public works director. It's a concern of our current public
Yeah.
works director. Just having the ability to say, this is who is supposed to maintain these private roads.
So here's my comment is, it's a policy.
Yes.
It's not an ordinance.
No,
And that means that if we find something in this policy that's not working and we have
we
some
can adjust
genuine, we can come back to the table and we can amend the policy,
Right. for sure.
right?
Yeah, anytime.
At any time.
And
It doesn't have
Next
to,
week. I mean, if there's something that, oh my goodness, we didn't.
the policy
amend
can
the
be amended at any time.
Mhm. And I'm okay with giving notice to
Absolutely.
those that live on Wrightson Drive in particular. And Border Trail. Would you say that's fair, Joe?
Absolutely.
Just to give them a heads up, one more grading in the spring.
And then it's their responsibility to keep it up to
Right,
the policy so we can maintain it in the winter.
right. And that way it's fair.
And what happens if they don't maintain it?
That's when I go and inspect before July, and if I don't find it up to par to where it's gonna destroy some of our equipment.
I think we could maybe even do a notice on the
Oh, yeah,
website.
it won't be, drop the guillotine or anything like that. I'll tell them, you gotta get this fixed, so we can take care of it.
Mhm.
But these two roads we're gonna grade or have graded, get through this winter
They're already graded,
for this year.
yeah,
Mhm.
correct.
Because normally we do one in the spring and one in the late fall.
Yeah.
Yep, we already did our fall grading, everything's all done. Yep, including Wrightson. We didn't go down Rose Landing because we can only go down Rose Landing with the grader. There's no place to turn it around, nothing to do, so,
You can't even make the corner way down.
no. And the speed bumps and things like that they put in, which is fine.
Well, I'll make a motion that this board adopt the policy presented regarding the maintenance of private streets by the local owners.
I'll second it.
Open still for discussion.
Other than the policy and the fact that I expressed my two concerns with Wrightson and Border Trail from presidents, that we've been doing it for decades, that we should continue that. And we don't add anything more than that. But if you look at our roads, there isn't anything more to add. So I would want the exemption for both of them.
And I would,
That's
Not
my
one.
opinion.
it's falling in your court, Suzanne.
Oh, my God. I would agree with this as presented. However, I would like it I'd like it in the minutes that should we have some conflict and that we come back and visit this and that we, if there's some genuine concerns or conflicts, or if we have some people that come forward and are adamant that we need to grade their roads, then
Always
we
open
consider
for-
that and we come back and amend.
So those will be in the minutes, right, Dottie?
And
I'll make sure.
correct
Well, we can
me,
check the minutes too.
I finally found the unmute. Yes, I have it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
And
Dottie.
the abutting parcel will be changed to, not to ordinance, but to policy.
Where was that?
It's under abutting
Where did I
parcel
miss that? Wedding parcel. Oh,
on the
okay.
first page, yeah.
Okay, so All right,
Oh,
so
the only other thing
I
that,
didn't,
I
I didn't
would-
understand what Ken was saying when he was talking about that. I was missing that. Okay.
on what?
The
Um,
change of the, on a budding parcel.
Yeah, take out the
Underneath
word
it.
ordinance, put policy there.
That's, yeah, that's what I just
'Cause it's
said,
not an
with the,
ordinance.
with the change in the. And anywhere else that if there
I
should be
didn't see
any
anything
other.
else in there.
No.
That's the one that just jumped out. Usually, the only other thing that we may want to add in here, because we can add it in. There was the associations, et cetera.
Mhm.
Like I said, for the liability aspect,
Okay,
you know, if you've got a HOA or. You know, whatever, there's somebody like the Quinnabar Trailer Park, you know, mobile home park there. That they've got a president that can sign off. If we happen to do any damage, that it's not our, you know.
Mm.
That they assume liability, what do you call, the asphalt breaks up, et cetera, from. You know, the weight of the trucks and stuff, it just covers us.
all right, so under. Under this. So is that under section 3?
Yeah, the owners association,
Right.
probably where that. You got special taxing district, I don't know if it would apply there.
We could run it by the attorney again. To add suitable language. To. For liability protection against the town.
Yeah, especially
think
when
that's
you
a good
have
idea.
a known entity that is representing,
Taking ownership.
yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so we've got removing ordinance. From the abutting parcel definition. And adding in the declaration of the policy. Suitable language for. The protection of liability for the town
Right.
where appropriate throughout the.
throughout the document. Okay, with those 2 adjustments. Anything else? Okay, all in favor of approving as presented? Say aye. Aye,
With
Oh,
the,
with the adjustments.
with the
Sorry,
adjustments.
with the adjustments
And
noted,
the
duly
additional
noticed,
comments.
and the additional comments from Suzanne. Say aye,
And Ben had.
but I don't agree with adding rights and drive.
No, but
in
Ken was
perpetuity.
stating
No,
that he
that's
wanted
just the-
his
Okay.
comments
The document
documented,
itself,
just
yeah.
like I wanted mine, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so,
just that they're in the minutes and documented,
okay,
yeah,
that works.
okay, so
Okay. Aye,
Okay, I'm voting no, which I expressed
yes,
because of past practices on
Correct.
those
okay.
couple of roads.
yes. All right. Thank you both. Good discussion. All right. Next on the agenda, bazaar raffle and bingo fees. Marie and I presented to you both some recommendations for a decrease in the fees that are listed on our fee schedule. What are your thoughts?
I'll make a motion that we accept the reduction as fees that are represented here in the document.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll second it.
all right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the reduction in raffle, bazaar and bingo fees as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and Dottie, I will share that with you. And just so the public knows, class 1 permits are going to be reduced from $75 to $50. Class 2 from $30 to $20. Class 3 from $60 a day to $20 a day. And class 4 from $15 to $5. So those are the reductions. All right. Did we vote? It's not funny. I don't remember voting. Did we vote? We had a motion in them.
Yeah,
I thought we voted.
yeah,
I'm losing my mind, I swear.
Must be the same.
All right. Reappointments. Brian Yacino and Brian Santos to the Economic Development Commission with terms to expire December 31st, 2026.
I'll make a recommendation that we appoint Brian Encino and Brian Santos to the Economic Development Commission, term to expire on 12/31 of 26.
Second.
All right, any discussion on these two reappointments?
Thank you for
Okay,
your,
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Town administrator discussion. All right, this isn't the first time we've heard it. It's been brought to my attention on multiple occasions from people. I think it is probably a very close, as we saw in the comments tonight, we had one for, one against. I think that's probably what we're gonna face with this. I think it's going to be tight, but there's enough people that have come to have brought it to my attention over the years. We did attempt to put it in the budget. The Board of Finance felt it needed to be a decision of the town. So I believe strongly that a town administrator will bring a sense of continuity to the town hall, to the employees. I think there'll be stability, and I think there'll be a level of professionalism, even though there will be a higher cost. And it's not like the Board of Selectmen wouldn't still be overseeing the duties and the job of the administrator. That's my opinion. But again, this is really for discussion. So yeah, interested to see
So
what you
let's-
both think.
Talk about the vision that you have in mind. You're seeing a Board of Selectmen, not a first selectman position in the town, or you're seeing a Board of Selectmen governing the town administrator. The town administrator would take the primary role of the day-to-day activities and overseeing each department.
Correct.
Correct. The Board of Selectmen would then become a stipend position. They would not be the salary that the first selectman has now.
I don't envision that.
Okay,
I don't envision that.
No.
Now, whether or not there still needs to be a first selectman or a chairman,
there's gotta be.
Right.
Yeah, something
somebody-
to that
somebody-
effect, but not at the cost of the
Correct.
first selectman salary. Go ahead, Ken, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Somebody has to be the chair of the
Right,
Board of Selectmen that will be doing the signatures along with.
Yep.
And you have your designee, so that,
right.
a lot of the same stuff that happens now, it's just the day-to-day, the employee, the administration of.
They would
of
be
those
managing
duties, but they'd be managing the town,
and they would.
giving reports to the Board of Selectmen, looking to the Board of Selectmen for guidance on
And approval,
issues and approval, because ultimately this is still the governing body.
right,
So that person would absolutely answer to the Board of Selectmen.
on, yeah,
Everything.
everything, basically, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the town administrator, as far as the budget goes, would be the one to put together the budget, or would it still be the
I
same
think it's still the
process?
Board of Selectmen.
well, your town administrator would be putting it together with the finance director, presenting it to the
Board
board
of
Right.
for
Selectmen,
us to review.
True.
I
True.
mean, that's what it would do,
exactly,
but they're the ones that would be here.
But ultimately, we would still have budget workshops.
Oh, yeah.
We would
Yeah,
still
because we still
decide
need
what
to-
stays,
yeah.
what goes. Yeah,
I mean, that's what the duties would be, without a doubt. That's, you consider that a pro because you've got continuity. One of the cons is because of where we are and the small town we are, we probably would have a fairly every couple of years a turnover. Because we would be somebody getting their feet wet.
Feeder.
A feeder, I
feeder,
mean, we're
yeah.
seeing that in different boards, and different things that we, over the last couple of decades, I mean. Excuse me? No, but I'm saying, but being the small town as we are, it opens us up to that, because,
we're not as small a town as we used to be,
no, we're within 500 of Putnam.
exactly.
And I'm not, and I get that, but if somebody's looking to put something into their resume, you're gonna come to a smaller town and then move on to bigger and better.
potentially.
Yeah.
Or.
I mean, there's always that's one of the,
So the individual that, the job description would be for a professional, somebody that has a
municipal government degree.
degree or background or experience, with a combination of experience that is familiar with but municipal budgets and running a town and what it takes to effectively organize and run a town.
Right.
In a perfect world, yes.
In a perfect world, right?
That
But,
they have
but I'm
the
saying that
the
the job
experience and
description,
everything.
not necessarily what we have for applicants, but the job
Right.
description.
But somebody, like I said, needs to put that into their resume. You may get somebody that's really on an entry level position. That's just out of college or, has worked as a, different place, lower end and moving up. It's almost like a town planner in the grand scheme of things as well. Okay.
Okay. Not sure that we would just get somebody out of college because
Oh,
there
no,
needs
no,
to
that
be
makes-
We don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
You're-
there
you're
needs
right.
to be a tremendous
There
amount
has
of
to be.
experience still in some facet of municipal government,
I,
so.
it warrants a discussion. Without a doubt. It's too bad we didn't run that through a Survey Monkey when we were just doing it for the other one, and I would recommend doing that right now, just get it out there. Cause you don't wanna drop this bomb on the 9,300 people
Right.
in town. This is something that is being considered, it's not etched in stone, but it's being something talked about.
Mhm.
And set up one of those and get it done and see where it goes. Because it is gonna change. You're looking at 6 figures to run the town,
Oh, yeah.
in an adjustment.
Minus.
But you're still looking at 6 figures, you gotta make the adjustment. So you gotta come up with additional money. It's gonna change the dynamics to a point,
Oh, right.
as we know. The other thing that I would consider. And something else is increasing it to 5 members,
I thought about that too.
okay? And rationale for that is. Let's get more younger people involved in town.
Mhm.
Cause our. Dynamics have changed an awful lot with the people moving in from Massachusetts. And if you look at. Right now, in order to be first selectman, somebody has to have the time to do this job
Mhm.
that's being elected.
Right.
That is willing to give up, put their career on hold
Mhm.
for 2 years.
Right.
And then you don't know if you're gonna get reelected.
Mhm.
So, you've got that, so it ain't saying that your pool is low, but you're not getting younger people. That could contribute mightily, that are willing to put their career on hold, because they're raising families, times are tough.
Right.
So if you go to and that'd be one of the questions to put into the Survey Monkey. Go to
5-member board.
5-member board of
Yeah.
selectmen.
I had the same thought, is a 5-member board. You'd have a better input from the community with 5 members as opposed to 3. It would be an ordinance change,
Right,
I believe, correct?
Yes,
yes.
The administrator is not, because that's a hired
It's a hired
position
position.
that, yeah, we can
Yeah.
add, but, I would agree with Ken on that.
Okay, so let's put a Survey Monkey out.
Mm.
And we'll see where it goes. And
See
maybe
what the
start
feedback is.
discussion,
I think.
Doesn't hurt.
right?
I think.
But I
that-
think if it's close, I don't think we say yay or nay, I think maybe we still move it, we get the conversation
Well, it's still gotta go,
started,
it's still gotta go to.
and then go to town meeting,
Town meeting.
potentially. So, all right,
But
I
this
like it, I
is,
like the input.
well, this is the time to do it, because we are going into the budget season. And they can finalize the budget right up until April.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that you're adding is not that great over figuring the
With the
entire.
whole scheme of things.
Entire budget, it's not that great.
Right,
We've done well with our selectmen that we've had in the past, but it is becoming more difficult to find qualified people that want to give up their career.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily a thankful job. It's not, it's a lot of criticism, I think, is what I see, and no matter what.
Whoever sits in the first selectman is the face of the town.
right.
Yes,
I mean, this has been going on for decades.
Mhm.
And, that's who the people are gonna go see.
Right,
They will talk to the rest of the board, but if there's a problem, they're right there at the door, banging away.
turn them over to Marie, no, I'm just. Very- very broad.
The administrator is an appointed position. It's not an elected. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because then it would be completely.
Oh, it's a
So it's at will.
It's a
Yeah.
hire. It's an at-will employee.
Mhm.
That's correct.
And you may have to, and this, if we go in that direction. You would have to see about. Again, the at-will aspect of it. And how much leverage that the Board of Selectmen have in order to keep that. You know, the right person in place,
Mhm. Right,
because it can be a performance issue.
all right, absolutely.
I wonder if there's any way to do there are advantages to having an administrator, and we know that for not just the consistency, but the knowledge that they bring to the table can be economically, I mean, it can really be financially beneficial.
Mhm.
So there may be an outlay of additional funds for salary, but it can really bring in some benefits that we aren't aware of.
Right.
That, and the longevity, if somebody stays with the position, the consistency, there's so many benefits to it. And so I know that people feel it's another layer, or another employee, but they answer to the Board of Selectmen, and they can only do what the Board of Selectmen give
Right.
them the authority to do,
Similar to the superintendent.
very much.
So,
Sean, have I missed anything? Because I know you've done some research on this.
No, like I've said, it's just. No disrespect to any of the first selectmen that we've had. I'm friends with most of them, right? But in my adult lifetime that I can remember off the top of my head, right? A retired correction officer, a retired principal, a retired union bridge builder, a retired DMV inspector, a current business owner, an attorney. I don't know what Brian Lynch was doing when he became the first selectman. Stop me when I get to a retired CEO of a $30 million a year business.
What was Dave? I can't remember. what
Dave
Dave-
was a retired
Principal.
Yeah, principal, right,
principal. Hey, all good people, all serving the town.
yeah,
All not knowing what to do the first, year at least, right, of a 2-year term. And we're a $30 million a year business now, with people clamoring every year about taxes and taxes going up. We need a commercial tax base. Okay, but how do we do that? We're the only town on a corridor without an industrial park of some sort, without a real commercial tax base. My feelings is we blame the people in the early 70s who moved the off-ramp and screwed us out of an industrial park back then, but that's long gone.
Mhm.
So, for the people who are against it, explain to me your plan. If you're against this, what's your plan? To lower taxes, bring in business, what's your plan? Because this system hasn't really worked. It's just kind of stayed there.
well,
You know?
part of that has been the will of the people.
No, absolutely.
Over
but
the,
will
over
of
the,
people-
no, but I mean, over the decades, it's been the will of the people. They like their corner of the state here as it is, and they don't want major change, but yet they want lower taxes, but they're not willing. And this happened around 1980, when they tried to put in the industrial park, and it
Oh,
got,
earlier than that,
Yep.
I thought.
Jim, Sally, Ruth, and my father were on that board at
Okay,
that
I thought
time
it was
with
in the 70s, but-
with Dr.
Oh, yeah, yep,
Dr. Fisher.
yep.
And they had proposed it, and they said, yes, let's do it, but we're not funding it.
I thought the state was gonna pay, and they said no. That was a story.
Yeah,
I
and
heard.
then it just went
Fizzled
away,
out.
and
And
that's
so here
been
we are
it.
50 years later.
Yeah.
40 years later. You know, and we all
So,
love the
but-
days have gone by, but that's just it, they've gone by, it's
Okay.
changed.
Okay, since we've had, Sean, if anybody else wants to
yeah,
give, some thoughts, or even on Zoom, please do so.
yeah, floor is open,
Floor's open.
I got a
yes.
thought on that, Ray Williams, Port Plain Road. What we did on Lowell Davis Road, you know, that could have been a perfect place, now that it's a scenic road, you know, that could have been an off-ramp, you know. That was one of the worst things we did, was put the scenic road on Lowell Davis Road, in my opinion.
The scenic road doesn't go there.
What's
It
that?
could still be, it would still
It's
have,
down.
yeah, the scenic road ends, we did that intentionally. The scenic road doesn't run all the way.
If it.
Runs up to the
for an
door,
off-ramp
up
for
to the
southbound,
highway.
It would have,
they wanted to do four-way off ramp, they could do it there. Scenic road wouldn't affect that.
I think it would have on the southbound side.
But anyway, we're talking, but
You'd have to take people's property to be able to do that,
Okay,
which is wrong, but that's.
Yeah, just-
yeah, we're looking for town administrator comments though.
Valerie
We-
Clark.
I'll give them their.
we know what our
You
challenge,
can now if you
You
want.
can now.
Okay, I think it's a terrible idea. We have the Ray Williams again, this time I'm speaking as a citizen. Because I think our planners should be taking care of that stuff,
Taking care of what stuff?
finding business for our town.
But an administrator would kind of run the oversee like a manager of all the departments.
But that's why we have a selectman.
But that's what we're talking about, is getting away from a position of a first selectman to having an administrator and then having a board of selectmen oversee the
But
administrator.
then we're going from a $60,000 or $70,000 a year to $100 and something thousand a year person.
That is the negative part of it. But the consistency that it brings of someone that is trained or educated in how to run a town and can stay with us for more than 2 years, there's a lot to be said for that, because it can bring in a lot. It can bring in a lot of funding.
but we have 9,300 residents. Not everyone can vote. But even if we got 5,000 that are eligible to vote. You know, it's an idea that's being floated, doesn't mean we go with it,
Right.
it's still the will of the people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it will give us the pros and cons and see how the people feel, just like it did with the town clerk and the tax collector. They wanted to, you know, do an election every 2 years. A healthy discussion is always a good thing. I won't, you know, and there's pros and cons both ways. So let's get the people involved. The one thing that I don't want to do is drop this
Oh,
at,
I commend
a
you guys
budget
for
hearing,
For doing that.
you know, do it at a budget hearing and say, okay, we're putting in $60,000 or whatever. And manipulating this, and the people go, we don't have a say in this, you know? And a lot of times they just look at the what the mill rate is gonna be and how much the budget's going up, and they don't read the fine print. So you don't wanna hide anything in this, and let's see what they do.
Well,
And-
I
and-
commended you guys for doing that.
And Ray, I
report
totally
last time.
respect your opinion.
know.
I didn't mean to diminish it in any way, shape
Yeah.
or form.
And you may be right, Ray, and they're gonna go, we want no part of this, then we know that it's
That's
the will
not,
of the people.
that ain't the people's thing, that's my.
No,
opinion.
no, but I'm saying, but you've got the majority of the people, you have yours, Valerie had said her, I forget, that Sean has expressed his so far, that's 3.
Mhm.
You know, it could be very lopsided where they don't want it, or it could be lopsided and they do want it. Again, we work for the residents of the people
That's
of the
right.
town.
And
Valerie Clark, she has her hand raised.
Yeah.
Valerie Clark Elm Road. I think this is a terrible idea, as I said earlier. You add a town administrator and you have lost control of the town. You might as well just give the place away. And you add selectmen to this board and you lose control of the board. You're gonna start having more and more and more things dispersed. You're gonna have less power as a board, and you will not be able to control that town administrator. They're gonna do whatever. So no, this is not a good idea, and expanding the board, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that either. This is a small town. It doesn't matter how many population it is versus Putnam, which is not a well-run town, sorry. People may disagree with that depending on their perspective, but I wouldn't want to live there. And I wouldn't want to have the town run the way that town is run. No.
All right.
Thank you for the comments, Valerie.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so it is just a discussion. Is there anybody else that wanted to share anything regarding the topic? All right, and just so that the board knows, our Human Resources Director is sitting in today, and I can create a pros and cons analysis similar to what I presented to the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and Board of Ed when it was decided to combine the Finance Director position. I can create it and present it, in January, so,
That would be
Thank you,
great,
Michelle.
Michelle. I think that's what I was looking for.
right. So we'll work on it. The discussion will continue. We'll, do a poll and see what the general temperature is, and then we'll continue the discussion.
Good idea. I think this was a good discussion.
I don't think it's something that should be ignored because there's enough people. There are people that do want this but there are people that aren't gonna want it, so we'll hash it out and we'll see where we end up. So in the coming months.
And I agree. It needs to be a whole town discussion,
Yeah.
input,
This is a major
because it
change.
changes, it changes how we govern.
Yep. All right, other business,
The only, I
Yeah,
want to
oh,
go
sorry.
back to Selectmen's comments, maybe we'll put it here.
okay.
I saw that Eric Capitulic is our veteran of the year.
Oh, yes, yeah,
I didn't see that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was in the Shopper's Guide. I happened to catch it tonight, and I'm very disappointed in the Shopper's Guide, how that looks now.
I think they got a sale on paper.
I haven't seen it in a while. I
It's been
don't
a
even,
sale on paper.
Oh,
I
it's,
read it online sometimes.
it's, no, it's,
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
it's
It's like this wide.
it's a newspaper folded in half.
But then.
But the print is the same.
still the same width it used to. be.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 inches of white on
Yeah.
each side. Weird.
I can't quite figure it out.
I haven't figured
Hey,
that one
but you
out,
know what? It's making people talk about it.
There you go.
okay? But, I look forward to our next
Yeah.
meeting with, for Eric and,
Yeah.
being a Marine and putting in, I think, 18 years, if I'm not correct.
2000, it was 1995 to 2003. So. that was 8
Whatever it
years.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
In the US Marine Corps, so.
Yeah,
And then the stuff he did afterwards.
Right.
No, but
yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah, that's pretty
that-
impressive.
Try it.
Yeah,
yeah, so,
Yeah.
as I meant to say that during the selectmen's comments, because I did catch that tonight.
oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
All right, other business, any other business that either
Nope.
of you have to bring?
Nope.
I do have one thing. We have 2 ordinances. One was the bid policy, which became an ordinance that was back in
Yep.
July. We approved, but then we also had the annual town meeting. The way it just kind of got left and we never really, even though we were in favor of changing the language, it appeared that as a board, someone, I don't know if it was you, Suzanne, but it just never got approved to go to town meeting. And the language was that the annual town meeting for budget purposes of the town of Thompson shall be held no later than the first Monday in May each year. So there is no minutes, Marie was searching for it, there are no minutes anywheres that state that we approved the adjustment. Although we did, but for some reason it was never made into a motion. Specifically, do you recall that?
I remember the discussion.
I do too.
So Marie and I have been talking because we have those 2 ordinances and this one's in particular is important as we move into budget season. Because if we wrap everything up early enough, we can have the town meeting earlier. Slightly earlier than the first Monday in May, to ensure that we can have several referendums if necessary. So Marie and I were discussing potentially January 22nd for a town
All
meeting.
right, to do this properly.
Yep.
That we add
Can I
that
add it
to the
is that
agenda.
okay? All right. I'll make a motion that we add modifying Article 25-6 from the ordinances to the agenda under other business. Make that motion.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
aye,
Aye. So yeah, we had an in-depth discussion, if you want to pass this, that's from general code. We had an in-depth discussion, but then it just sort of was assumed that we were good with moving it to town meeting.
I think that we were still pondering other things that may have been added and it just sat.
Right, right.
I honestly don't remember if we voted, I don't know. I remember the discussion, but guess I don't remember the outcome.
Well,
Do we have a copy of what that you have?
that's with the change, but that's what it was before. It was always to be held on the first Monday of May. And we're asking that it say be held no later than the first Monday in May each year.
Which gives us a flexibility,
Some flexibility.
because we did modify it. Yeah, 17,
Mhm.
because,
I remember when we modified it.
yeah. What was it, the third Monday of the month?
It used
Back
to be
then,
the third
And we
Monday of
moved
the
it
month
back
to
to
that.
give a little bit more time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, it doesn't change. It's still the first Monday, has to be done no later than the first Monday. If we're good to go.
Correct.
Then we have the option of doing it earlier. Still doesn't take effect until July 1st anyway.
doesn't change the budget.
Correct.
It just changes when we vote, when we go to town meeting.
And we were all in agreement,
Yes.
Right.
the consensus at that time.
Mhm.
And what was the other?
That was, oh, the other one we already passed. There was already a motion, for the new ordinance. And that was for the purchases for the town of Thompson. It replaced the bid, or potentially will replace the bid policy as an ordinance for purchases within the town. So we approved that on July or August, I think, August 6th. So,
So I'll make a motion that we, so we're sending this to town meeting.
correct.
That we send the language change for the proposed ordinance revision. So it's 25-6.
Yep.
To town meeting.
Well, that the change is. The annual town meeting for budget purposes of the town of Thompson shall be no later than the first Monday in May of each year. That's what we're approving.
We're approving.
Right.
And then we're
We'll
gonna-
send it to town meeting.
Town
when we
meeting
create the
for-
legal
yeah.
notice. All right.
Somebody
So
wanna
you make
second it?
that motion? I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No,
All right, all in favor of approving this language, this revision to ordinance 25-6, say aye.
I,
Aye. And that will go to town meeting. And any other business? I know there's not, because I already asked you guys. Citizen comments. Any citizen comments? Valerie Clark.
Ellery Clark, Home Road. I really appreciate that Ken brought up the problem with the shopper's guide. I encourage anyone who feels the same way to call the shopper's guide and complain. My understanding is the background is it's related to the fact that shopper's guide was sold and they had no
Oh, I didn't hear that.
control over the new format. And it is, I agree with you, hard to read, looks like a waste of paper. And the only benefit in our house is it now fits in the bottom of the bird cage.
There you go.
it's
Easy
easier
for
to
it to
burn if
see
you
that
like
way.
the fire.
The bird is enjoying the reading.
Any other citizen comments? Yes.
John Brissell, Old Davis Road again. Why does the town spend tax dollars dealing with private roads at all? That makes no sense to me. These are private roads. Most of them are on lakes. You choose to live there. You chose to buy a house with a private road. I don't understand why the town does anything at all. And I saw the pictures of these roads that Joe had. There's no way our town trucks should be plowing their roads if they're not gonna maintain them. That's ridiculous. The amount of damage I'm sure that is caused to our trucks every year because of those roads. I used to plow in Boston. Okay, it was the worst mistake we ever made, was taking a contract, helping one of our landscapers do Boston roads. Beat the crap out of our trucks. Those roads are worse. So I don't even understand why we're doing it. First of all, it's private roads. If we're gonna do that, please, I got about 1,000 feet all the way down to my backyard. Come plow mine. I got a private road. It just happens to be my driveway. I mean, this makes no sense to me at all. Past, present, I don't care. They're private roads. We put in a condo complex. Do we plow that for them if they have an HOA? So that makes no sense at all. That's what should be getting looked into, is why we're doing anything at all. So this policy of we'll play nice, no. I don't know, I mean, you looked at, I'm sure you guys saw the pictures of those roads. How you tell Joe to go plow those is beyond me. If they didn't fix them, they don't get them plowed. And personally, even if they're perfectly good paving, I don't think they should be plowed. So that's, I didn't even know we were doing that, and you wanna put something to a town vote? Put that at a town meeting. Should your tax dollars be paying for private roads to get taken care of? That's, no.
Thank you. Yes.
Ray Williams, Porter Plain Road. About the Lake District, mostly Schoolhouse Pond. For years and years. You know, that they graded them roads for 40 years. The maps down there, the roads ain't even where the maps are, 1974. If you look at the map for Center Street, it comes down on an angle. Center Street sisters Ashworth Ave. That Center Street was never finished during that, and the town fixed that. And here I go again, same thing I said at the last meeting. If the town put that road in there, that should be a town road. The town paid to have, paid the employees to tar that. They paid to fix the culvert twice down there when it washed out, and it washed out real bad. The town paid for that. All them roads were foreclosed on by the town in 1955. So how can them not be town roads? You know, my daughter lives down there. I got 2 grandkids down there. One's got asthma real bad, one's got a heart problem. I plow to her driveway. I'm not plowing the whole damn thing, but I plow to, you know, from Babula Road to my daughter's driveway every time. And then how can you force somebody to become into an association, even an HOA or internet? That's got to be illegal. You know, if all them people down there and hire an attorney, if you're saying, well, they gotta have an association take care of them. They bought that place without having an association. How can you force somebody to an association? I just don't understand that.
Well, you can't really, but if you live on a
And-
private road and you want it maintained, you can ask for donations by each resident or something, you know?
And if they're not being maintained, their taxes should be cheaper than anybody else's their roads are being plowed. Your road where you are, you ain't being plowed, you shouldn't be paying the same taxes as somebody that's you know, that's out on Brandy Hill. That's just not right.
But we bought it knowing
I
that.
was gonna say.
Right, but these
But we
people
bought
down
it
at
knowing
Schoolhouse
that.
Pond didn't know that was being taken care of for 40 years. You know, first time home buyers, there's people down there, first time home buyers. And first time home buyers, you can't, it's gotta be a town road. They looked into it. Them were town roads when you know, that was considered a town road. I know that when my daughter bought the place.
I don't know.
And I personally would agree 100%. If it was a town road, then the town maintains it. But like you just said, Suzanne, everybody buys their property knowing what they buy. When people buy a property and they get mad that, you know, a commercial business goes in next door to them when they bought next door to a commercial zone, then shame on you. Everybody knows what you buy, right? If you bought on a private road, and if you bought on a public road, then it's a public road. But if you bought on a private road, you bought on a private road. If you bought on a lake, sorry, your taxes went up. You get to be on a lake. If you own all kinds of leased land on a lake, don't complain that your taxes go up. You couldn't lease that land for that money if it was on Lowell Davis Road. I mean, you know what you own. That's all I'm saying is, if you know you bought on a private road, you bought on a private road. If you bought on a public road, you bought on a public road. It's simple.
I'm not gonna sit here and keep arguing,
Right.
but I do wanna
Last
say one
comment, you
thing.
can use that
These
the final
people-
comment.
Most of the people down on Schoolhouse Pond been living there since the roads were being maintained. Maybe the new people, so why should they have to form an association? I'm sorry, like, you know, why should they have to form an association now? That, you know, some of the people have been down there 50 years, you know, 40 years.
Mm.
And they're not being treated fairly, I don't think.
Any other citizen comments? Yes,
Baker,
say your name louder
North Baker,
and your street address.
Ravenel.
Ravenel, okay.
So when somebody buys a property like that, on any of these places, in the deed, do they have a right of way over that property? Is it, you know, so is it a town, right, you got your deed, you have a right of way, either on town property or private property. It'll determine whether or not it's
Mhm.
private or not.
There's a few places, especially up in Schoolhouse Pond, Bros Landing, that they don't even know who owns the road.
Right.
There's a lot of problems up there because it was a development from decades and decades and decades ago that families have changed and stuff has gotten lost and
What we specifically look for is, the road being transferred or a section of property being transferred over to the town, specific sections. And that's usually what we use to identify. Strange case, and I don't want to keep bantering back and forth, because this is supposed to be just citizen comments, but Roy Road became a question. And in Roy Road's deed, which is basically a driveway, it says it's just an easement. It never got conveyed to the town, but in the deed, which we could potentially fight at a later date if we so choose, but because the person who's lived there has lived there a long time, the deed says that the town would maintain it. So it's basically someone's driveway that because of the way the deed was written, the town maintains. But Joe didn't understand. He was like, we've always done it, and I don't understand because it's not wide enough to be a town road. It doesn't meet any of the standards. And that was why, so I did a little research and we found out that that was why the town has always maintained it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because
And
it's in the
it's-
deed.
because it's in the deed. So,
That's real.
right,
I just want to make a comment to what he said. There's a difference with them private roads down there because the town foreclosed on the guy that owned the development.
So the town owns it. If the town foreclosed on something.
The town owns a significant
that
portion of
ownership
lots
goes
down
to
there.
They own they foreclosed on the whole development, so
Wow.
the roads were in that development.
I haven't seen the data from that, and the assessor hasn't reported that that was the case, so, but we're not gonna debate
Yep,
that
that's it.
anymore at this point. Any other citizen comments, just citizen comments?
Tax refunds.
There are no tax refunds.
Hey. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Suzanne has the motion, Ken has the second. It is 8:12 PM. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.